Electric Mary, Mother. 8 tracks, 35 minutes. The fourth studio album from legendary Melbourne rock band. Released February 2019 by Listenable Records. I believe this one is self-produced by Rusty, with the mixing done by Steve James. One single has been released so far in Woman. This is the band's first full album of new material in 8 years and comes about after a rather tumultuous time for the band. Go for
it. This is exactly what you would expect from Electric Mary. This is a excellent album. The riffage on this album is first class, again as expected, but for mine the real highlight of this is Rusty's vocals. Mm-hmm. He put on an unbelievable performance on this, and like I can't put into words just how good this was. This is a hard rock singer at the very top of his game and one of the best in the business, nailing everything, and that's what really shone for me in this album. And the way the album is built and the way it's produced and the way it really highlights that fantastically well. They've done an excellent job with that. I didn't know Rusty produced this.
He recorded it, yeah.
Fuck, man. Man, it's got it all. Some people have it all.
Yeah.
Again, but the thing is, again, this is unsurprising for Mary. I didn't think there was a dud track on this. No. I thought everything really served its purpose well. Production is fantastic, again, as expected from these guys, which, again, that I didn't know Rusty produced it, makes it even more spectacular. For mine, Gimme Love is the best song on here, the opening track. I think that's one of the best rock songs of the year so far.
Nice.
Wouldn't surprise me if it creeps into there at the end of the year. I gave this 8.5 out of 10. This is a great album.
Nice.
Yeah, in my opinion, there isn't a better blues rock orientated band in Australia. These guys are the kings. It's that simple. If you want to play that, just riff, heartfelt lyrics, emotion, without following any trends. That's grinding. It's riffy. It has everything. You know, it's not a new style of writing. It's definitely, but it's. They're like an AC/DC. They just have a formula. They know how to do it, and they just fucking execute every time. You know, you're never really disappointed. If you like this style, then you're good to go with this album as well as their previous releases, if you ask me. They have a certain trademark that the bass rides really high, and that's my only gripe. I find it rides a little too high. And I've heard it on other releases, and it must be just what they like to hear and how they want the music to be perceived. But and that's just a little molecule, you know. Sorry, Baby, The Way You Make Me Feel, and Woman with my standouts. I thought the back end, probably the last 3 or 4 songs, I probably tailed off a little bit.
Okay.
And when I say a little bit, it's still pretty damn good. But 7 out of 10 for me. I don't think it's their best work, but it's certainly not a bad release at all.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, we had to wait a while for this one. A lot of us thought the band were over after things went a bit pear-shaped last year. But this, for mine, was a natural, organic evolution for the band to take. Performances are first rate. If you know this band, you know you're going to get that. You're not going to get a bad performance from this. But what's really cool for mine is how the lead guitar work really tied into the early stuff from this band as well. So it's all a seamless cycle. That was really cool. The pieces are all in place. The band has clicked. Rusty's vocals, fucking hell. Like, Glenn Hughes is a huge influence on Rusty. I think you can hear it, but at the same time, I think Rusty is in the same conversation as Glenn Hughes for mine. Now, people may or may not like that statement. Rusty probably won't like it himself, but I think it's there. I think that, fuck, he's good. Great composition on this one. This one's a little more rooted in the blues than the hard rock, so to speak. But they've used the space and the writing incredibly well. Everything has the time and place to shine, but it all fits and serves the song. I love the feel they had on this record. This is genuine old school classic rock brought right up into today's standings. Fantastic hooks. Some of these songs will become instant fan favourites, just like the rest of their live set is. But some of the other songs will stay with you and grow on you the more time you spend with this one. It's not a dud moment on this one for mine. I love how it rings out, and they've grown on this record for mine in a big way. Lyrically, this was really interesting. It all ties in with the title of Mother. And knowing that they were originally going to call this woman and they turned the title into Mother and stuff, it's all about obviously relationships and all that sort of stuff. But you wonder, such is the lyrical writing on this, that you wonder if it's all purely fiction or if there is something a bit autobiographical about this and the storytelling in the songs.
Yeah, it does leave you wondering, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the blurring of the line is the fantastic element of that. Like, usually you can tell if someone's really just venting their spleen and you can tell if it's fiction, but this one you can't tell, and that's awesome. I don't know where or how Rusty recorded this, but fuck, he pulled some tones. Jesus. I mean, not hard with the caliber of the band, but it's a different trick to actually capture it. It's something else, and he has done it. The little effects that are applied sparingly on this, nothing much, but just a little bit of dusting. It all works well. Great panning in the guitars, that was really well done. I love the depth and the space in the mix of this. Everything is crystal clear. It has a vintage feel with a modern sound. About the only thing that's missing for mine is a little bit more impact from the cymbals, but that's an extremely minor gripe. They have kept this real and given it just the right amount of polish. This is well done all around. The bookends of this album are what really sort of set this up in between and get you going around all that sort of cycle. The start and the finish, really strong. In the middle is where you take your journey in between. Might be a little bit slower than some of their early releases overall, but I think the feel and the flow of this is wonderful. It's real storytelling. It's got a real emotive journey in it. It's a classic rock band, and the energy goes up and down in just the right way. It's just a slight twist on the previous works because they had a lot more sort of belter songs on previous records, but this is really good. If you like classic rock or rock music at all, you need to check this one out. And then go back through the back catalogue as well to see where they got to this point, and go and see them live too, because they are one of the best live bands you will ever see. And I think these songs will add a nice dimension to the live set as well. I'm going to coin Rusty's phrase where he says, it's rock and roll the way it used to taste, because that's exactly what this is. I might be a bit biased because I'm a long-term fan of this band, but as a long-term fan and listening to all their records and all sort of stuff, I'm not getting to get tired of this one. I think this is a fantastic release, and for one that almost didn't come out, I'm glad we got it. This could really breathe new life into Electric Mary again after that hiatus they took. I gave this a 10 out of 10. I really did love this one. How do you do it? That song, fuck, that got me in a heartbeat. Woman, Gimme Love, and Long Long Day were my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. That was... I sat to listen to it, and then listen to it, and I couldn't stop listening to the fucking thing. It was just like, you bastard. How do you do...
Listen to it in your car.
Yeah.
Because the way it, with the speakers so far apart, the way it just sits is fantastic.
That's why I've got that seat set so low.
Yeah.
Because it puts you in the triangle.
Yeah.
Of the speakers, and it's just sort of... Fuck.
Yeah, it's a good one.